Welcome to Red Kingdom Sports. We are here with our Week 11 Chiefs preview when they go up against the Dallas Cowboys in a game that is going to be very, very fun to watch, not only as a Chiefs fan, but also as a football fan. When we have two teams that are coming in. Chiefs struggled this season, got right last week. The Cowboys, who have had an amazing season, one stinker of a game against the Broncos. But other than that, these two teams, I think, are playing their absolute best football right now. You have the Cowboys coming into Arrowhead. Now, one thing before I get into it, I really wish this could have been the game that they flexed into Sunday Night Football, but because the Chiefs played against the Raiders on Sunday Night Football last week, I don't know how the NFL would have felt about putting the Chiefs on back-to-back primetime games on Sunday Night Football. So, that's probably why this didn't happen. They probably didn't have enough time to do it. But how was the NFL supposed to know that the Chiefs were going to come out and just look like themselves last week? Like, nobody. Like, I wanted the Chiefs to do better, but the way they had been struggling in the trends and then playing a divisional opponent, I was confident in that game, but at the same time, if the Chiefs didn't come out and look like them old selves, I would still understand why, because they've had a struggle of a season. But them coming out last week playing the way they did was absolutely amazing. And then you have to give the Cowboys the way they played last week against the Falcons, just obliterating them. It was a straight up killing the Cowboys did against the Falcons. It was not even close. From the opening kick, it was not close. So these two teams are coming off amazing wins, blowing out their opponents, coming off great wins. And we have the 7-2 Cowboys going into Arrowhead, and probably the game of the week, could be game of the year, because just how well these two teams have been playing. Like, I can't wait. It could be, like I said, game of the year. Now, a couple quick notes that I want to discuss on the Cowboys front. They honestly could be the best team in football. Like, who knows? It's probably down between them and the Packers right now of who is the absolute best team in the NFC, because every team this year has had a stinker of a loss. You have the Packers, who lost week 1. You can kind of throw out the Jordan Love game because it doesn't really count. You didn't have Aaron Rodgers. The team wasn't at full strength. In the eyes of a Chiefs fan, we're glad that happened, but as a Packers fan, that game probably doesn't count. So every good team has had a stinker of a loss. The Cowboys, they had their stinker of a loss against the Broncos when they just got basically dominated. I mean, in my eyes, that game was 30-0. That was the absolute worst game the Cowboys could have played at that time. But every team this year, the Rams have had a stinker. The Titans, they've lost to the Jets. They got blown out by the Cardinals. And then you look at the Cardinals, they've had some bad losses, especially with the injuries. So overall, all the good teams are having really bad losses. So there's really no absolute number one team in football right now, which is great to the NFL. It's great for viewing because every week it's an unknown. And that always makes football and makes sports in general so much more enjoyable to watch. Like, you're always going to have that one team that's good in most years, but just seeing every team just battle it out every single week is just always so fun. It makes the product so much more intriguing to watch. And for the Cowboys, you have Dak, who's playing at a legit MVP level. He could win MVP this year. If he does win it, I would not be surprised, because the MVP race, just like the standings, is completely wide open, because every MVP candidate this year has also had a stinker of a game. Look at Tom Brady. He's had a stinker. Derrick Henry, obviously out for this, at least probably for the regular season. You've had Lamar, who came off the stinker against the Dolphins. You have just all these great players who could legit, even if you wanted to throw Mahomes in there at the beginning of the season, he could have won it. He's had a really bad 5-game stretch up into the Raiders game. So MVP wise, it's literally wide open that anybody at this point, and I mean anybody, could win the MVP. And then, along with Dak's great football that he's been playing this season, he has amazing weapons that he's going to have to utilize all game. CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, Zeke Elliott, Tony Pollard. I mean, that two-headed running attack's scary. Those receivers are absolutely scary to want to deal with on any given week. And so that's going to be a fun matchup to watch. You have their defense playing really, really well this season. They're turnover machines. You have Trayvon Diggs, in my opinion, who's very, very hit or miss, but it's also a guy that you don't want to throw to when he's on his game, because if he's on his game, he turns out to be the league leader in interceptions. And then you have Micah Parsons, who's an absolute beast, could win Rookie of the Year. No, they do have Randy Gregory out. They haven't had DeMarcus Lawrence for the majority, if any, of the season. So those are two big hits on their pass rush, which isn't necessarily the best. But you have to give a lot of credit to Dan Quinn just to go in there, dominate it, even if it is the Falcons, just going in there, dominating a team. It's the NFL. These, teams can win on any given week, and to hold an opponent to three points when I think the Falcons do have some talent on their team. That was a very, very impressive win by the Cowboys. Now let's get into why we're here, and that is the 6-4 Kansas City Chiefs, who are in the exact same spot they were the year they won the Super Bowl. Exact same record, the exact same, and that was something I was on since probably week 3 or 4. I was like, you know what, this could be lining up to be just like the Super Bowl. Now, obviously, last week, the Chiefs they were fantastic against the Raiders. Mahomes was very patient. He took the dump off to Darrell Williams the entire game if he had to, made some deep, good throws to Tyreek Hill. Travis Kelce looked like his beastly self. Like, all the weapons were on point. That offensive line was perfect, superb. They played him against Max Crosby. They contained him well. Yeah, I know there could have been a lot of flags thrown against him. Whatever, we're not getting into that. That's in the past. But offensive line played great. The receivers were getting open. Mahomes was able to complete a couple of deep passes. And even in that game, you could tell that he wanted to keep taking them, because even the ones he was overthrowing them, he said he's going to keep taking shots, and he better keep taking shots, because that's what this offense is. They ran the ball fairly well when they did it. Like, this team, the patience of this team, and that's what they're going to have to do against this Cowboys defense, who I think this Cowboys defense is very, very aggressive. Like, this Cowboys defense is a very aggressive defense. So yeah, the whole team, the team as an offense as a whole played very well. They're just going to have to continue to be patient. That Tyreek Hill, Trayvon Diggs, hopefully they play on each other most of the game, because that'll be a very fun, interesting matchup to watch all game. But I think with Trayvon Diggs, I think if they do end up with Hill or Trayvon Diggs on Tyreek Hill, I think they need to exploit that, because Tyreek Hill is very good at running routes and getting open. And the way that Trayvon Diggs has a tendency to blow coverages a lot, if they can, exploit that, get Tyreek Hill open, or whoever is on Trayvon Diggs, that would be a great way for the Chiefs to, open up the playbook, get those deep passes coming again, get those quick strikes. So if they have Tyreek Hill if they have Trayvon Diggs on Tyreek Hill, it is going to be a long day if, Trayvon Diggs goes back to his terrible, inconsistent self of blowing coverages. But yeah, like I said, last week Mahomes did miss a few shots. You don't expect him to hit all of them, but the fact that he's still taking them, he connected on a few of them, that is something that, I expect them to do against this Dallas team. Because, it's going to probably be a shootout. We'll get to the defensive side of the ball for the Chiefs. No matter how well they're playing, this might be a shootout any way you look at it. So that if the Chiefs can get things right offensively, look like they did last week, their offense is going to click and look really well. And then, like I mentioned, Tyreek Hill looked good last week. Darrell Williams had over 100 yards receiving out of the backfield. That's a quality that Mahomes needs to take into this Dallas game and use his checkdowns. Be patient in the pocket. And then, another thing that I saw last week that I really like seeing was Travis Kelce become a really good run blocking tight end. If he can do that in this game, that'll be really fun to watch, especially when you have a guy like Micah Parsons, who's just a disruptor, a beast. So if Kelce, they're sending blitzes, Kelce can catch up on those. Become like his blocks last week against Crosby. Like, there was one play that stuck out in my mind where he was blocking Crosby as he was trying to get Mahomes. It was kind of one of those where he blocks and then he lets loose and goes out for a route. He held Crosby just long enough so that way Mahomes can roll out, and then Kelce got off his block, got open, and then gained a few yards off of it. That was a really great play that he had last week. So Kelce's going to have to be really good in his blocking game this week, and I think that's something that he's becoming very good at, along with the Chiefs' run game. I know people say it's not good. I think it's good because that offensive line is great. I just think the Chiefs don't do it enough. If the Chiefs were to run the ball more, they might become more of a deadly offense, make those teams stop playing the cover two, too high safety the entire time, because if they run the ball, they're very effective at that. They get that, on first down, for say they get 7 yards every time, then that deep shot is open. on second down. Then you have the playbook basically wide open on third down, and you have Andy Reid who's aggressive, so it's fourth down. So if they can get a nice yardage on the run on first down, you obviously have Andy Reid who has a lot of guts and will go for it on fourth down. So this offense, I think, is going to be fun to watch against a very good Cowboys defense. Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, obviously two guys to look out for on that Cowboys defense against our team. So that matchup wise is going to be a lot of fun. Now let's get to the defensive side of the ball for the Chiefs, which has been playing amazing football recently. The first thing they're gonna have to do is gonna have to play very, very well in the pass game. That Cowboys passing game is really good. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, CeeDee Lamb, Gallup's back, Cooper, Zeke and Pollard are both great out of the backfield. Like, the entire secondary is going to have to step up, and if for some reason Hitchens is in coverage, he can't be blowing coverages like he did last week against the Raiders. But Fenton, Snead, Thornhill, Matthew, like, I know I mention these in my reviews every week, but those guys have been balling out and playing very good football recently. Like, that team, the secondary, just that entire defense has stepped up in major ways. Like last week, the way they played, the way they've played since the Washington game. I know, take out that Titans stinker first half, but to shut out teams back to back in the second half, and then just to play really well against the Packers. I know they're missing Aaron Rodgers, and then play last week against a divisional opponent in the Raiders. Like, this defense has slowly gotten better, and it'll be just like 2019 when they won the Super Bowl. The defense, or the offense, is going to play fantastic. The defense just has to be middle of the road. If you look at 2018, if the Chiefs had even this defense, I think they probably win the Super Bowl. Like, I know in the first few weeks they were on a historically bad pace, but you look at this defense now, and if this is the defense Mahomes had in 2018, you look at the defense they had the year they won the Super Bowl, you look at the defense they had last year, like, a defense, the Chiefs don't need a dominant defense, because this offense can score points. But if you look at the defense, they just need to make like 2-3 stops a game, and it's game over for the opponent. But this defense this year has definitely stepped up in the last few weeks. After a historically bad start, they have been playing fantastic football. You have the run game, they're still giving up. They're middle of the pack now and giving up rushing yards per game, which I think is fine. I think that'll be all right, because, a team that was on a historically bad pace, as I've mentioned many times already in this video, to go from the absolute worst to middle of the pack, 19th or so, that's something that, credit to Spags, because you have two really, really young linebackers who have been playing amazing. You have Nick Bolton, Willie Gay, who I think are going to have a massive game, and not letting Zeke and Pollard run crazy. The signing of Melvin Ingram has quietly been one of the best accusations for the Chiefs, because you move him to the end. You have Frank Clark, who has shown up and played amazing recently. You move Chris Jones back to the middle. Jaron Reed even got into the game last week. Like, those front seven are definitely playing very good football right now. And like I said, that Melvin Ingram signing was quietly the best thing the Chiefs could have done, because it allows Chris Jones to play inside. And I never realized how much of a disruptor he was in the middle. Like, he is such a beast in the middle. That is just, he's so good. And even Noddy, he's playing quietly great. Like, that run defense has steadily gotten better each week, and it's been really fun to watch. And especially when you have two guys like Pollard and Elliott, that's going to come in key and very important. And then I've mentioned the secondary already. They're going to have to cover those great receivers. One of the deepest, if not the deepest, best receiving core in the NFL. Like, the defense wise, the defense is going to have a very, very tough challenge against the Cowboys and their defense, and their offense, I should say. But yeah, there's a lot of things they're going to have to do. Obviously, be physical at the line of scrimmage, make Dak uncomfortable if they have to, send pressure, because, I know Spags loves to send pressure on third downs. It's worked when he's done it fairly well recently. So, I know we were out for Spags' head earlier this year, but I think just the way he's turned around this defense after the slow start, I think this team has finally gotten, much better in a place it needs to be. This defense has been playing well. The Chiefs' offense finally looked good last week, and this game is going to be a lot of fun to watch. You have the Cowboys who, after all the hype for for 25 years, the Cowboys have been hyped to win the Super Bowl, and the Cowboys finally have a legit shot to win the Super Bowl. You have the Chiefs, who are finally gotten right, who have been a great team since 2018, even before that, since Andy Reid came into town. So you just have two really, really good teams that are playing great football right now. And hey, Tony Romo said it at the end of the Buccaneers-Chiefs game last year, and I think it was around week 12, that this could be a Super Bowl matchup. Guess what? Right here could be the Super Bowl matchup for this year. I'm not saying it will be, but just keep that in mind. This actually might be the Super Bowl matchup for this year, because the offenses on both of these teams are so good that they don't need a top 10 defense to make it and win to the Super Bowl. You look at Mahomes in 2018, a pre-snap penalty away. You look at Mahomes in 2019, they had a middle-of-the-pack defense. You look last year, the defense again was middle of the pack, a little bit better than 2018 or 2019, but still, it wasn't a top-tier defense. And you look at the Cowboys, last year, if Dak doesn't get injured, he may possibly have carried them to a playoff, to a division title. So these teams, they don't need defenses. It relies on offense, and an offense-heavy league. So that's what I'm saying. We could be seeing a Super Bowl preview right here in Week 11 of the Chiefs and Cowboys game. I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm really excited. Now, I am recording this late on a Wednesday night, so if there is any news that breaks that may enter this game or anything that changes, I will be making a news video. I should have a news video up of whatever happened today. I'll have a news video up on Thursday, and I'll have hopefully one up on Friday and possibly Saturday. But that is my Chiefs preview for Week 11. I hope you guys all enjoyed listening. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching. Give me your thoughts of what you're looking for in the Chiefs Cowboys game down below, and I will see you in the next one.